Can you talk about the Irish and how they were oppressed and how this model that we have, this settler colonial model, is just a social construct. It's a tool of the ruling class to to use power, and that they have various tools. Like what they've done in India is different than what they've done in America, but what's done in America was very similar to what was done in Ireland.
Well, Ireland's often spoken of as England's first colony. The conflicts stretch back centuries, some would say 800 years, and the conflicts continue to this very day, albeit in a muted fashion, muted compared to what was happening at the apex of this conflict. But as noted, there's a kind of reconciliation between English and Irish once they crossed the Atlantic. I always found it striking that you had these Irish American politicians like the late Daniel Patrick Moynihan, who always liked to tout their so-called Irish credentials. And at the same time, they were big-time anti-Black racists, particularly Daniel Patrick Moynihan, the former senior senator from the state of New York. And of course, it's not only North America. You had an Irish migration to Australia, an Irish migration to Southern Africa, Scottish migrations at the same time. And in fact, you can make an argument, and actually, this argument is represented in my book on the 17th century, that when you have the coming together in 1707 of the various constituent elements of the British Isles, that it's not coincidental that that happens in the context of the expansion of settler colonialism, because in some ways, these so-called minorities, if I can use that term, like the Scots and the Irish, many of them, in a sense, are being bought off by being able to participate in the colonial feast. That is to say, the colonial feast in North America. The research in the United States, I don't think has been adequate insofar as plumbing the ethnic roots of many of the so-called founding fathers of the United States of America, in terms of were there roots in Ireland, were there roots in England, were there roots in Scotland, for example. This helps to underscore the point that many of us make, that some on the left refuse to engage, which is that history is an ongoing debate. I get the idea that some people on the left see history not as an ongoing debate, but as spouting settled postulates. And then if you contradict those settled postulates by digging up new evidence or coming across new perspectives, it can lead to your being called a fascist, for example, which is one of the descriptors I just saw recently applied to myself.